Hello everyone. Welcome to this class, which is focused pretty much on side planks. So it's going to be transitions between our regular plank and our side planks, downward facing dog, and a little bit of rest. But primarily we're going to work on that skill of side plank. So let's begin with a little bit of wrist prep. Come on down to tabletop position and we'll work through our wrist hinges and palm raises, working on both sides of the wrist. As you rock back, pull your palms off of your yoga mat, pull your fingertips back towards your forearms. When you rock forward, try to raise your palms and your thumbs off of your mat as you keep your base knuckles grounded. Let's try to move slowly through this transition and pause in each movement. Do your best to keep your arms straight. Slow down your breathing. Find that nostril inhale and controlled nasal exhale. Let's pause here back in this wrist hinge. Pull the back of your hand towards your forearm and straighten your arms even more. Keep as much wrist extension as you can as you start to lean your body weight forward. Even as your palms start to lower onto your yoga mat, still think of lifting your hands up. Now press your hands into the ground as if you would press on a gas pedal. Lift your palms off the ground and stay grounded through your base knuckles. Lower your palms slowly and lift your palms. Let's do two more like that, just the palm raise. And then step your right leg forward into a half kneeling position. We're just going to do a little bit of work for the shoulder. A regular shoulder car with the left arm. High five the wall behind you, and then internally rotate and reach back. Reverse the circle. Find some stability in your legs by scissoring them together. Let's do one more with a little extra tension. Last one. And then we'll repeat on the second side. Chest stays facing forward. Body presenting those natural spine curves. Energetic legs. One more shoulder car. External rotation, reach. Internal rotation, reach behind. Moving on to our scapular push-ups. Let's come to that tabletop position. We'll start with protraction and retraction, which does simulate a push-up, but we're just letting the scapula glide. Your arms are straight here. Try to keep your head from moving. Neck stays in that neutral curve. Same thing with the mid-back and the low back. Now let's elevate, pull the shoulders up like a shrug, and then drop them down. Just a few more like that and we'll put it all together. Let's make a rotation now. One more this direction and then reverse out of that and switch. Just two more. Short rest, hips back to heels, arms can reach forward and a little wider for a child's pose. Drop your forehead down, find your breath. Relax your shoulders. Breathe into the rear rib cage. And feel your side ribs expand as well. Come back to tabletop. We're going to take the right hand around the rib cage, and then the left shoulder is going to rotate. As you rotate on your left shoulder, your chest will open to the right, and then come back to that neutral position. Let's do three more like that. Think of turning your fingertips outward as you pull your sternum towards the right. We'll do one more. And then switch. Left hand to the ribs. Right arm is solid, really strong. Think of spiraling that upper arm bone as you turn your chest open to the left. Balance out your pelvis from left to right. And focus this energy just in that right shoulder. Nice little rib stretch as a bonus. Last two. Last one. Set yourself up for your downward dog. Play around with the width of your hands. Some of us like our hands a little wider in down dog. And just take a quick pedal here. Drop your heel as you bend the opposite leg knee. And then widen out your down dog stance. So walk your feet back a little bit further. And then start to pull yourself forward to high plank position. Pivot your heels to the right and let your hips twist to the right, but keep your chest square. Come back towards the center and then slowly let your heels pivot left as the toes turn right. Nothing changes in the upper body. Back to downward dog. Take a few breaths. You can shorten your stride again. Feel your shoulder blades lift. Soften around your neck. Find that plank position again. Find a sense of your hands pulling to your toes and your toes pulling towards your hands. Send your heels to the right as you rotate all the way open into side arm balance on the right side. Lift your hips a little higher and then lower them down, creating a little arc in the side body, and then level it out. Two more. Final one. High plank. Downward face. Press your hands into the ground. Stretch your hips up and back away from your fingertips. Shift forward, high plank. Try to pivot your whole body around the axis of your left shoulder as you send your heels left and your toes right. Side arm balance, hips go a little higher, and then lower them down. Just a few inches at a time. We'll lift, come back, and we've got two more. Really push through that left palm. Last one. Back to regular plank. Downward facing dog. Stretch through your spine. Think of reaching down and pressing down through that outer armpit area. And then think of drawing energy up from the floor to the inner basin of your armpit. Outside's reaching down, inside's drawing up. Lower your knees and take a short rest. Reconnect to breath sensations. Slow down your exhale. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2. One more cycle. Breathe in. Breathe out. Downward facing dog. We're going to practice lowering onto the forearms. For Dolphin Pose, you can bend your knees as much as you like. Try to keep your elbows in the frame of your shoulders and let your forearms land all at the same time. And now try to press your arms straight back to down dog. Bend your elbows. Drop your forearms slowly. Press back up. 2 more times. Dolphin push-ups. Last one. This time we're going to keep the forearms down for dolphin and walk your feet back so that you can come into a forearm plank. Stay broad in your upper back. I'm trying to just keep those neutral spine curves, so no need to find a cat pose here. And then drop your knees down, untuck your toes, bring your thighs to the earth, and lift your heart forward for a Sphinx Pose. Reset your elbows so that they're about shoulders width. Angle your right shoulder inward a little bit, so your fingertips are pointing more towards the left front corner of your mat. And the left arm's just gonna stay where it is. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips, then lift your knees. With your left arm, we're gonna think of pulling open as we pivot the heels to the right. And then raise your left arm all the way up. You can stack or stagger your feet. Lower the hips just an inch or so, and then lift them up. 3 more times, lower and lift. Last 2, keep those bottom ribs in. Last 1. And then reset to that forearm plank position. All 10 fingers facing forward. Lower the knees, thighs, and hips. A little bit of a sphinx here. Find some work in the glutes. And then you're going to angle your left arm in just a little bit on a diagonal. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips, lift your knees. Heels pivot left, toes right. Side plank on the left forearm. Raise the hips a smidge and lower. Lift, really push into that left arm. Last 2. Last 1. And then slowly transition back to that forearm plank. All 10 fingers face forward. Knees down, untuck your toes. Let's find a Sphinx pose. Level out your spine, tuck your toes under again. Drop your tailbone slightly, lift your hips, and then lift your knees and press into your toes. Walk your feet forward towards your elbows. Walk your elbows back just a little bit towards your toes. Spread out your fingers. Work on pressing your arms to straight, finding downward dog. Take a few breaths for recovery. Shift forward to a high plank position. Shoulders about over the wrists, more or less. Drop your right forearm down, bend your left elbow, and press back up. Let's see if we can stagger the hands here. So the right hand is about 1 handprint away from the left. Bend, tap the right forearm, straighten both arms. 1 more time, bend, and straighten. Reset your plank. Broaden across your upper back. And then walk your left hand forward slightly, bend both elbows, but try to get your left forearm down. Press back up. 2 more. 1 more. Regular plank. Level out your hands, lower your knees. Send your hips back to kneeling pose or child's pose. Back to your plank. I'm going to add on there. We're going to be taking this from high to low plank and back up again. So right forearm comes down, left forearm comes down, side plank on this left forearm, open up to the right. Back to the center. Press your left palm down first, back to high plank. Both arms straight. And then we'll lower the right forearm, left forearm, pivot open to the left on the right forearm. Back to that forearm plank. Press the right hand down first, push back up to high plank. Pivot open to the right. On your left arm, raise the right arm and switch back to regular plank. Slowly transitioning now onto your right arm. Open it up. Keep the hips buoyant. back to plank. Come down onto your forearms. Left forearm first, then the right forearm. Pivot towards the right, coming onto the left forearm. Raise your right leg up if you can. Just tuck your knee to your chest. You could even hold on there. Stay strong on the outside edge of your left foot. Slow pivot back. Center forearm plank. Now over to the right. Top leg is going to tuck on the outside edge of that right foot. Keep your hips up. Release back down, forearm plank. Lower your knees. Thighs and hips. Heart pulls forward. Come all the way down this time, but slide your palms back beside your chest. And then we'll move back to a child's pose. Just a couple of breaths. Regular plank pose on your palms. Tuck your right knee towards your left armpit. Twist yourself so that your toes are facing the left side of your mat and you're on the inside arch of your left foot, or place your whole left foot on the ground. Kick your right leg through. Take your left arm high. Keep that right leg where it is. Bring your left hand down and then step back to plank. Left knee towards the right armpit. Pivot onto the sole of your right foot. Kick your left leg all the way underneath you, right arm high. Right hand comes down. Neutralize your chest and then step your left leg back. High plank. Downward dog, hips go high. Shift forward to a plank. Heels pivot to the right, toes to the left. Come on onto the outside edge of the right foot. The left leg tucks in. You can hold your knee or you can reach your arm high. Keep your knee bent for now. Release all 10 toes to the ground, high plank. Same thing, other side. Be strong on that base leg. So really kind of stand on that left foot. Outside edge or even the sole of your foot. Tuck your right knee up towards your armpit. Raise your right arm high. Last push. Come to forearm plank. Right forearm plank. The top leg is your base leg. Tuck your bottom leg underneath you. Try to kick it straight out ahead of your hip. Bend it in. Step back, forearm plank to the right. Now come onto the left forearm. The top leg is your standing leg. Tuck your left leg underneath you. Shoot it forward, straighten it out. Bring it in. Last time to forearm plank. Lower your knees, thighs and hips. Little Sphinx, shoulders down, heart forward. Lower all the way down. Pull your palms beside your chest. Press back to child's pose. Relax. Soften. And release. Breathe space into your core cylinder. Let your head be heavy. Hips sinking towards the heels. Soft neck. Rise up to a kneeling position. You could also sit on a yoga block. Raise both arms overhead. Breathe in. Allow the shoulder blades to lift as well. Side bend towards your right. I'm going to keep this side bend towards the right. And then a little bit of rotation. Chest towards the floor. Think of cat pose and reach your left arm diagonally across your body towards the right. Open it up. Same little side stretch. And then a little bit of spine flexion as you turn your chest towards the floor and reach your left arm across your body. Let's do one more segment like that. Traditional side bend, pull your right shoulder down, and then flex and twist your upper trunk. Back to the middle. Take a couple of breaths with your arms over your head, but center your rib cage directly over your pelvis. Trying to keep those front ribs from flaring as we move into our side bend to the left now. Balance out your pelvis. Push the floor away with your left hand. Reach your right arm. And then button up those low ribs. Think of your cat flexion as you rotate your chest a little towards the floor and really reach through that right arm and side. Turn your chest to face forward. Depress your shoulder blade on your left arm. Let the right shoulder blade lift. Once again, we're going to rotate and flex. Think of tucking your tail here as well. Last round. Forward facing side bend. Contain the rib cage. And then one more time to flex and twist towards the ground with our sternum. Neutralize. Find an upright seat or a kneeling position and close your eyes. Let's just take some time to breathe. If the heart rate is higher, just observe that. Rate of respiration. Give it time to come down. You don't need to take in more air here, but do try to be a little bit more conservative with your exhales so that they take longer to leave your body. Although it's tempting to rush that cycle, challenge yourself to slow down. Thanks so much for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed this short practice. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. Take care of yourself.